Imagine two 7-year-olds. The first is busy planning a unicorn party. She's writing invitations, writing rules for games her friends will play. She's thriving, all because her curriculum was built around her. Now look at the second child. He's pretending to read books his peers love during class and throwing tantrums throughout the day. Why? Because he's trapped in a system that demands that he be on lesson 14 today, even if he didn't understand lesson 1. Did you know if a child is a poor reader at the end of first grade, there's an 88% chance that they will still be a poor reader at the end of fourth grade? Most parents are told their child just needs more time, but in the current system, more time often means a widening gap. Your child is not the problem, the system is. My name's Alison, and I've spent over 10 years in the classroom watching how the modern system fails some of our brightest kids. I'm making a bold promise. Your child's struggle is not about their intelligence. It's about a system that prioritizes compliance over actual teaching and learning. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to stop the unfair race and remove the hurdles from your child's track once and for all. Right now, you might be thinking, another tutor? We've already tried the parent-teacher conferences where they told us our child was fine, yet my child is still crying over reading homework. I want to validate your skepticism. You've likely been told your child just needs more time or needs to try harder with the school's intervention. I understand your skepticism because I've sat in those exact meetings. I've been in meetings discussing how the curriculum is not meeting the needs of all my students, only for administration to tell me I know too much and that I need to just let some things go. I refuse to let your child's future go, and that's why I'm here. If those solutions failed, it's not because your child failed. It's because those solutions were designed for a standardized student who doesn't exist. I refused to let things go when I knew students were slipping through the cracks. I'm here to use every bit of that too much knowledge to help your child see themselves as a capable learner again. I've been teaching for over 10 years, but my connection to this fight started long before I had my own classroom. I grew up seeing that reading isn't a one-size-fits-all process. My youngest sibling struggled while the rest of us excelled, leaving my parents confused. They didn't realize he needed explicit instruction that the rest of us didn't require. I also watched my best friend struggle with dyslexia all the way into college, where her only accommodation was extra time. But as any parent or teacher knows, extra time on a test is not going to help a child who can't decode or understand what they're reading. Even as an excellent reader who constantly read for fun, I was hiding my own struggle as a child. I was an awful speller. I maintained my status as an A student by memorizing every spelling list in elementary school so I could get 100% on my spelling tests. But in 6th grade, my mask slipped. My teacher asked for suggestions of words we wanted to practice, and I thought, my mom always says I misspelled does. My class laughed at me. I was embarrassed. Then years later in high school in AP English, I confidently posted in response to my classmates, who I was trying to agree with, that I defiantly agreed with them. I know the deep embarrassment of feeling like your identity is being smart, but you're still struggling so much. After completing my degree in education at the University of Oregon and my master's degree at Columbia University, I landed my dream teaching job. A school where we built the curriculum entirely around the students' interests. I saw that when a child loves the way they learn, the difficulty of trying disappears. But I realized I wanted to be even better at helping struggling readers. So I invested in over 200 hours of professional development to learn about the best strategies for teaching reading. I've seen the absolute best of an individualized education and the absolute worst of the education system. I didn't leave teaching. I left a system where we were just complying. My mission is to help every child thrive in reading. I've seen this method take a student from reading 3 words correct per minute to 79 words correct in just 1 year. Another student went from 13% reading accuracy to 94% in just 3 months. I choose transformation over compliance every single time. When a district decides that every student must be on the same lesson on the exact same day, the exact same time, it creates a domino effect of failure. If a child is behind, they stay behind. If a child is ahead, they're fine, so they get ignored. This isn't just a waste of time, it's playing with kids' futures. Every day spent complying with a scripted curriculum that isn't helping your child has an impact on their confidence and their overall learning. The cost of inaction is known as the Matthew effect. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So in reading, the good readers get better and the poor readers get worse. Good readers read more, which increases their vocabulary and knowledge. Struggling readers read less and fall exponentially further behind. By the end of 4th grade, strong readers have seen nearly double the amount of text than struggling readers. If you wait, you aren't just losing time, you're losing the foundation to your child's future. Research shows that students who are poor readers in 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to become high school dropouts. This isn't just about this year's report card. This is about their ability to one day understand medical and legal documents. Every month of compliance with a failing scripted curriculum adds 3 months of catch-up time. The unfair race has already begun, and the hurdles in your child's lane may be getting higher. I know that as a parent, you're constantly balancing your child's well-being with a million other responsibilities. It's natural to feel some resistance or hope that just waiting will help the problem fix itself. Let me tell you about some of the most common concerns I hear from parents. Not with judgment, but with the evidence you deserve. You've been told they just need more time to grow. It's a comforting thought, and many well-intentioned teachers share this optimism, hoping that a child will just catch up with time. But the data tells a much harder truth. A landmark longitudinal study found that if a child is a poor reader at the end of 1st grade, there's an 88% probability they will be a poor reader at the end of 4th grade. Where a child stands after their 1st year in school is almost exactly where they'll be after their 4th year of school, unless a radical change of approach is taken. We aren't just waiting for them to bloom, we're watching them run an unfair race. In this race, some children have high hurdles in their lanes and some have none. Simply giving a child more time on a track with high hurdles in their way doesn't help them catch up to their peers. It only widens the gap as they fall further behind. You've probably been told the school already has specialists working with them. It's logical to assume that a school always has the best people for the job, but I've seen it from the inside. Even the most dedicated specialists are often trapped by a scripted curriculum and district-chosen resources. There's a massive gap between what the research shows. Often, school interventions are about compliance and test scores. Students chosen for the program are sometimes referred to as the bubble kids. They're right below proficient. If we can just get them up, we'll raise our school's test scores. Which means the kids who are really struggling, who need that radical change in approach, get left behind. And I know you've probably thought, we're just too busy for one more thing right now. I hear you. Your family's time is one of your most precious resources. But think of it this way. You wouldn't let your child skip baseball practice for months leading up to a big tournament, would you? You wouldn't expect them to perform a grand piano recital if they hadn't touched the keys in weeks. In the same way, reading is the practice for the game of life. When a child struggles to read, they aren't just missing out on grade-level material. They're missing out on the world around them. Falling behind now doesn't just impact this year. They are losing out on vocabulary and concept their peers are learning and taking with them to the next grade level. Getting your child proper intervention is actually the most efficient use of your time. This intervention removes the hurdles from your child's path once and for all, instead of complying with a system that isn't working. And all that time lost to tantrums over reading homework, I'll give it back to you so you can enjoy some quality time with your kid. You may have tried tutoring before and you're thinking, previous tutors didn't work, why will this? Most tutoring is just more of the same practice. More homework help or another version of the school's scripted lessons. My approach is different because I focus on the reading mechanics of the brain, specifically orthographic mapping. This is the mental process skilled readers use to retrieve words instantly. We don't just try harder, we change the way your child processes language. One of the biggest myths in education is that if a child struggles to read, they just aren't smart enough. After more than 10 years of teaching, I can tell you that's one of the most dangerous misconceptions that parents and teachers can believe. In fact, I've often found the exact opposite to be true. Many struggling readers are bright, curious, and creative children who solve problems and love to explore the world around them. The challenge isn't their intelligence. It's that they're being taught in a way that doesn't match how their brains learn to read. Let me tell you about 2 students. The first was a kindergartner making slow progress. His parents noticed and signed him up for tutoring. Almost immediately, his letter sound fluency increased, and he was able to start reading 2-letter and some 3-letter words. Everyone was encouraged by his progress, but when summer came, his parents thought that more time would solve the issue and pulled him out of his extra support. By first grade, the gap had widened. He realized his classmates were reading chapter books he couldn't read, so during reading time, he would walk around or sit with a chapter book, staring at the pages, pretending to read. When his classmates came over and said, "I love that book, what part are you at?" he would stare at them silently until they felt awkward enough to remove themselves from the interaction. He was hoping none of them realized that he wasn't actually reading the story. Now think of another student. She also struggled with reading and writing, but instead of waiting, her parents got her an Orton Gillingham tutor who met with her twice a week in addition to her classroom instruction. Little by little, everything began to click. She wasn't memorizing words anymore, and she understood why words were spelled the way they were. By second grade, she had become one of the strongest spellers in her class and an enthusiastic reader, choosing to read books on topics she loved because it didn't feel impossible anymore. It felt enjoyable. These two children weren't different because one was smarter than the other. They were different because one received systematic, consistent instruction that matches how the brain learns to read. Reading is a skill, and like any skill, it can be taught explicitly, systematically, and successfully. That's why I never see a child as incapable. I see a child whose brain is waiting for the right instruction. The moment we stop asking, "What's wrong?" and start asking, "What does this child need?" is the moment everything changes. Instead of believing, "I'm just not smart enough," a child starts to see, "Oh, I just needed someone to teach me in a way that makes sense." That realization doesn't just change how they read, it changes how they see themselves. By shifting the focus from fixing a deficit to how your child's brain maps letters and sounds, we preserve their identity as a bright, capable learner. I don't believe in fixing children. I believe in unlocking their potential. I work with the "I can't read" kids who have started to believe they're not good at school. And I work with the "I'm bored" kids who have started to feel like school isn't a challenge. Those children may look different in the classroom, but one thing is the same. Neither is receiving instruction that truly meets their needs. Think of your child's learning journey like using a GPS. Every child has the same destination, being a confident, capable learner. But no two children take the exact same route to get there. Some need to slow down and strengthen foundational skills before moving on. Others are ready for a more direct route with a faster pace. My job isn't to force every child down the same road. It's to understand how your child learns, where they're at today, and make the best path forward for them. We're not simply preparing for the next spelling test or reading assessment. We're giving your child the skills, strategies, and confidence to navigate learning independently for years to come. When instruction is aligned with how they learn and what sparks their curiosity, whether it's unicorns, space, or dinosaurs, they stop feeling stuck and start moving forward confidently. If nothing changes, it's likely nothing will change. Choosing to continue the same approach means betting on time alone, fixing a problem that often needs individualized intervention. Every week that passes can make reading feel more frustrating for a struggling reader or more uninspiring for a child who feels like they're not being challenged. While some children are working twice as hard to catch up, others are coasting because no one is challenging or stretching their thinking. Think back to the GPS. Every child has the same destination of becoming a confident, capable learner. But not every child needs the same route to get there. When we insist that every child follow the same path, some fall behind and some never get to where their potential could take them. When we insist that every child follow the same road to that destination, some children fall behind and others never discover how far they could go. The destination hasn't changed, but the route is not serving the child. The academic impact is only part of the story. The emotional impact can last much longer. Every time a struggling reader sits in class unable to fully access the lesson, they risk believing, "I'm not smart." Every time an advanced learner spends another day completing work that is too easy, they risk believing that school is boring or not a place where they can grow. Neither child is reaching their potential because neither child is receiving instruction that meets their needs. As parents, we all want our children to feel confident, challenged, and excited to learn. Yet it's easy to hope another teacher, another school year, or simply more time will change things. After 10 years of teaching children, I've learned that they thrive when we stop asking them to fit one path and we create a path that fits them. You can't always control the road your child is asked to travel at school, but you can get them personalized support that helps them move forward with confidence. The question isn't whether your child has potential. They do. The question is, will you let another year teach them that they're not capable, or that learning isn't worth their curiosity? Or will you choose a path that reminds them that they were made to learn? By now you might be wondering, what does working with you even look like? Every child has the same destination, becoming a confident, capable learner. But just like using a GPS, but no two children take the exact same route to get there. My role is to determine where your child is at today, determine the best path forward, and continue to adjust the path as they grow. Phase 1 is Discover, our first week together. Every journey begins by understanding the starting point. That's why I don't begin by asking, what grade level is your child reading at? But instead, where is your child in their reading journey? Through a comprehensive assessment, I look beyond reading levels to identify your child's strengths and gaps. I assess the foundational skills that support reading: phonemic awareness, decoding, fluency, encoding, vocabulary, language comprehension, and reading behaviors. This gives me a complete picture of your child's learning patterns, strengths, and gaps, so we can create a plan that works for them. Phase 2 is Navigate, weeks 2 through 12. Once we know where we're starting, every lesson is designed around your child's unique needs. Some students need explicit, systematic phonics instruction to build a stronger foundation. Others are ready to expand their vocabulary or learn more complex morphology. Some are ready to work on improving their writing skills. Some are ready to engage with more challenging texts to stretch their thinking. Because instruction is matched to the learner, children begin making meaningful progress. Reading becomes easier for those who once struggled. Advanced learners rediscover the excitement of being challenged. Confidence grows because every child is learning at the pace and level that's right for them. Phase 3 is Take Flight. My goal isn't simply to help your child improve one reading level or one set of skills. My goal is to help them become a curious, confident learner who continues to grow year after year. As your child grows, our instruction evolves with them. Throughout our work together, I communicate regularly with families and provide resources for at-home practice. When appropriate, I can coordinate with classroom instruction so that your child has a seamless learning experience. Whether your child is catching up or reaching ahead, my commitment is the same. I can help them develop the skills, confidence, and love of learning they can take with them through every stage of their educational journey. I know the fear that's probably sitting in the back of your mind right now. It's not just that your child is struggling to read. It's that nothing will help. Maybe you've already tried tutoring, talked to the teacher, downloaded every reading app, and they're still struggling. You're wondering if they'll always be behind. You wonder if you've missed the window of time to help them. And perhaps the hardest moment is hearing your child say, "I'm just not good at reading," and wondering if they're actually starting to believe it. Or maybe your child isn't struggling to keep up, they're struggling to stay engaged. They finish their work quickly, tell you school is boring, and seem to have lost that curiosity for learning they once had. You worry that they're learning to settle for less than they're capable of, instead of being challenged to reach their full potential. I understand those fears because I have seen them firsthand. They're part of what drove me to leave a system that forced every child to follow the exact same path. Some needed more support, others needed more of a challenge, but every child deserved instruction that matched what they needed. The encouraging news is this: reading is a learned skill, not an innate gift. Children aren't born readers. They become strong readers through explicit, evidence-based instruction. When previous approaches haven't worked, it isn't because your child isn't capable. It's because the instruction wasn't aligned with what they needed. The greatest risk isn't trying something new. The greatest risk is letting your child spend another year believing that learning is impossible or uninspiring. Every child deserves to feel capable, challenged, and excited to learn. Sometimes all it takes is putting them on the right path. You're standing at a crossroads, and the choice you make today can impact how your child experiences learning for years to come. Path 1 is staying on the current course. You hope that another school year, another curriculum, or more time will simply solve the issue. Meanwhile, your child continues to have to work harder just to keep up, or sits through lessons that never truly challenge them. Little by little, they start to learn that school is something to survive, not a place where they can grow. Path 2 is choosing a different path. It's choosing individualized instruction that meets your child where they're at today and pushes them to grow at their own pace. It's choosing an approach that builds on their strengths, addresses their unique needs, and gives them the confidence to tackle challenges with curiosity. This isn't just about reading scores or report cards. It's about how your child sees themselves. Do they believe they're capable, curious, confident? Or do they begin to learn that they're simply not smart enough or that learning isn't for them? If you're ready to choose a path that fits your child, not a one-size-fits-all curriculum, I'd like to invite you to book a free consultation call. We'll talk about your child's strengths, their confidence, and the areas they need the most support. We'll help get you that support so your family can spend less time crying over reading homework and more time enjoying each other's company. After our call, we'll schedule an assessment to pinpoint where your child's at, their strengths, and what they're ready to work on learning next. From there, I'll create a personalized learning plan tailored to your child's needs. Your child's individualized plan will be implemented through weekly instruction and support with a certified educator. They'll help your child build the skills and confidence they need to become a successful reader. Your child has waited long enough to leave the one-size-fits-all path and start a learning journey that's built around who they are. If you're ready to stop asking your child to fit the system, I'd love to help. If you haven't scheduled a call with me, click the link in the caption to book a free consultation call. Let's build the roadmap that unlocks their confidence, nurtures their curiosity, and helps them reach their full potential.